Now, complications of cataract. What will happen if we do not manage the cataraceous condition properly and timely? There will be a lot of complications, okay? The first one is the phacomorphic glaucoma. Phacomorphic glaucoma, even it is developing during the pathogenesis of cortical cataract. If you remember from the intermission stage, some individuals develop phacomorphic glaucoma, okay? What is this? As in the cortical cataract, there is the continuous hydration of lens, and this hydration will cause the lens to swell up, okay? The lens will swell up and it will block the pupillary outlet for the fluids, okay? There are the fluids in this posterior chamber, so this swell up lens will block this pupillary area, which is called pupillary block, and in turn these fluids will accumulate and these fluids will push the iris forward and will block this angle and will cause angle closure glaucoma, okay? So due to the pupillary block, this glaucoma is called phacomorphic glaucoma, and it is developing even during pathogenesis in some individuals, okay? Now the intermission stage, if you remember, it entered into the mature cataract stage. What is happening in the mature cataract stage? Only I will give an overview, okay, to understand. So this is, for example, if this is one lens fiber, okay, this is one lens fiber. In mature cataract, there is the degeneration of the crystalline proteins inside these lens fibers, okay. These will degenerate and will clump together and will cause opacity. Now, so this is the mature stage, okay. The entire lens is opacified. The entire lens is hazy and cloudy. Now what will happen? If in this stage we do not manage this condition, what will happen? It will enter into a hypermature cataraceous stage. In hypermature cataract, what will happen? Now these lens fibers itself, they will degenerate, they will convert into pieces, okay? Now these lens fiber itself, they are broken down and it will mix with the fluids and water and will form a proteinaceous mass, okay? Now it is a hyperosmolar proteinaceous mass of lens proteins. So due to hyperosmolarity, the lens protein will start to move upward, to move outward of the lens. And the proteins, as due to the increased osmolarity, the waters and the fluid, they will start entering the lens, okay? So the proteins which came outside, what will happen with these proteins? It will cause, first of all, it will cause phacoantigenic inflammations, as these proteins are sequestered and they are hidden from the immune system during development. Now when they come in contact with the immune system, it will cause inflammation. So this is called phacoantigenic inflammations, and if this inflammation can develop on the surface of retina, okay, will cause retinitis in the uterus, okay, in the uterus it will cause vitritis in the vitreous humor, sorry, it will cause vitritis, okay, on the surface of the iris it will cause uveitis, okay, on the trabecular meshwork it will cause trabeculitis. So due to this antigenic nature of this protein, it will cause inflammation of different surfaces of eye. Now due to these proteins, another thing happening, which is inflammatory glaucoma, is the inflammation of the trabecular meshwork. So due to this inflammation of trabecular meshwork, it will leads to increase intraocular pressure, which is called inflammatory glaucoma. So now this protein has also caused inflammatory glaucoma. Now it is causing another type of glaucoma, which is called phacolytic glaucoma, as the proteins are diffusing, okay, they are diffusing outside of the lens into the vitreous humor as well as into the aqueous humor. So these proteins can directly deposit in these trabecular meshwork and can block these channels, okay. So this glaucoma, it will cause a glaucoma which is called phacolytic glaucoma. So due to these proteins which are coming out of the lens, different inflammation can be there, we can have inflammation and inflammatory glaucoma, and we can have a direct deposition and pericolytic glaucoma. And now this hypermature cataract can do another thing, which is that ultimately all of the proteins, they will came out of this lens, and the lens will shrink out. If ultimately the lens will shrink out, the lens will shrink out because most of the protein has gone. Due to the shrinking in hypermature cataract, the zonular fibers, this can break out, These zonular fibers can break out, and now the lens can dislocate. It can completely come into the anterior chamber or posterior chamber, which is called luxation, and it can partially come into the anterior chamber and posterior chamber, which is called subluxation. Now another thing, this hypermature cataract can go into another stage, into another stage, which is the last stage, Morgagnian cataract, Morgagnian cataract stage. In this Morgagnian cataract stage, what is happening? That is, now the water has a lot of water has come into the lens. So we have only left with a small nucleus. With a small nucleus. This nucleus, when we look through the eye, this nucleus will look like that it is a brownish yellow particle is present in a milky water. So this, because of the proteus mass, the fluid's appearance will be milky white, and the milky white fluids, the lens nucleus will sink down as a brown yellowish particle. This stage is called Morgagnian cataract. So these are the different complications of cataract if you do not manage the condition properly and timely. I also have prepared notes. I will give you the link in the description. You can go through the notes and can learn more. Thanks for watching the video.